Hey guys, this is Frozen Wish Studios here, and welcome to parts 19 and 20 of the Frozen Awards 2025 Best Original Screenplay and Best Adapted Screenplay. One thing a lot of us can agree upon is that story is one of, if not the most important factor in making a good film. Sure, I mean, to me, having good characters, characters that I can connect with and care about are what elevates a film the most. As characters is my favorite aspect of a film, but you can't deny that a good movie would should always equal a good storytelling. Well, most of the time. So these two award categories showcase the best writing of the year. But just because a movie is awarded the best screenplay does not mean it is the best movie of the year. Because you can have one movie have the best writing, but then another movie takes the cake because of how impactful it is. But I'm sure you know where I'm going with this. So these two categories are separated from for obvious reasons. If you can see like the title of it all. So start. So starting off with part 19, best original screenplay. This award category goes to the most original film of the year that shows that original films can still exist in this day of age, regardless of of sequels and remakes and IP films being made. Yeah, people should give original films recognition, and that's what I'm doing for this one. So without further ado, here are the nominees for Best Original Screenplay: Abigail, Anora, Challengers, Civil War, How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies, The Substance, and the Frozen Awards for Best Original Screenplay goes to Anora. Yeah, I'm glad that Nora won Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars because this Nora is the most original film of the year, and I know that like the best original films that tend to be indie films lately, but I mean more people need to watch indie films, and Anora isn't just an indie film; it's a film that can cater to mainstream audiences alike. So yeah, what makes Anora just so good is not only the impact of the story, and just how brilliantly well written it is, but also just the sharp and witty dialogue as well. So basically, what the story of Anora is, it's about a young Russian sex worker who meets up with the son of a rich family named Ivan. The stripper, the sex worker is named Anora, aka Annie. I prefer calling her Anora, and even if the Russian son of the family is named named Vanya. I think Ivan is a better name for him. So so basically they both date, and then when they go on their vacation to Las Vegas, they get married, and this pisses off the Russian family, and this Russian family confronts Ivan and Anora, but then Ivan runs away, so they must find Anora. But they must find Ivan, and then eventually, Anora comes to the realization that Ivan hasn't been treating her like a real human being, and just an object. So of course their marriage gets annulled. No, not annulled, but divorced as well. So yeah, now how does that not sound original? So this is basically a Cinderella story, but what if Cinderella was in a harsh environment? It's kind of like that. It takes inspiration from a fairy tale, but with a harsh reality. That is pure originality at its finest, and yeah, and also this movie is very entertaining too, and it's funny. The jokes are brilliantly written. The dialogue is brilliant too, and yeah, I could go on and on about it, but yeah, I got another category to do. So yeah, this everything I've just said is why Anora deserves the Frozen Award for best original screenplay. My bad. So we get on to part 20 of the Frozen Awards at 2025 Best Adapted Screenplay. This award category goes to a movie that's based on a popular IP, whether it's a sequel, remake, or anything that's brilliantly told and brilliantly executed. This proves that movies that are based on popular IPs can still be well made. And I think people need to stop saying, "Oh, all anything that's not original is automatically bad," whether it's a sequel or not. So, without further ado, here are the nominees for Best Adapted Screenplay: Deadpool and Wolverine, Dune Part 2, Inside Out 2, Joker Folie à Deux, The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, The Wild Robot, and the Frozen Award for Best Adapted Screenplay goes to Inside Out 2. The first Inside Out movie got nominated for Best Original Screenplay, and I don't blame them because Inside Out is one of the most original films that Pixar has ever made. But now I myself am giving Inside Out 2 an award specifically for adapted screenplay. It's adapted because it is based on the IP of Inside Out. It is a sequel to Inside Out, but this is not just any ordinary sequel. It's a sequel that's incredibly written. And what makes Inside Out 2 so good is how it realistically portrays teenagers and how they grow, how they mature and all that stuff. So basically, the what Inside Out 2 is about, it's about a 13-year-old Riley who still continues to dream of becoming a professional hockey player. So now her goal is to get into a hockey camp. So of course she gets into a hockey camp, and she's accompanied by by her two best friends, Bree and Grace. But unfortunately, they both get separated because Bree and Grace go to a separate school, and so Riley faces challenges as she must make her new friends. And but in Riley's mind, yeah, there are new emotions, anxiety, envy, ennui, and embarrassment. And yeah, anxiety takes control of Riley's mind and changes Riley for who she is and what kind of person she is. And so now the OG emotions was to stop the new emotions from changing Riley's personality, only to discover that Riley doesn't need to be perfect, and she can be so much more than just a good person because her flaws also define who she is. Yeah, I mean, now, like, I think one of the strongest traits about Inside Out 2, one of the most impressive traits about Inside Out 2, is that Disney and Pixar, and the writers of the film, interviewed actual teens to get an idea on how to portray a teenager. They want to do all that they can to portray Riley and make her feel like a real person. And that's actually what makes one of the factors that makes Inside Out to the script just so good is that Riley feels like a real person. She feels like a real teenager. She goes through what real teenagers go through, and all that stuff. It's just so realistic, and this movie just feels a lot more grounded than the first one. Sure, this movie does take a little elements from the first one, like how Joy like not wanting like Joy wanting everything to go her way, and all that stuff, yeah. But it's not as similar to the first one as you think. It doesn't constantly just rehash the same story as what some people tend to accuse this film of just being the exact same as the first film, but no, it doesn't. And also this movie portrays anxiety so well, and how anxiety can be an important emotion in our lives. And but how no, not important, but anxiety can be important, but we should not let anxiety affect our lives. And also this movie's main message is that no, you are not perfect, and your flaws can define who you are, which is one of the most powerful messages I have ever seen put to film. And yeah, so I can go on and on about how good this movie's writing is, but I'll just leave it there and say that Inside Out 2 deserves the Frozen Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. So that's parts 19 and 20 of the Frozen Awards of 2025. Stay tuned for parts 21 and 22, which is Best Sound and Best Film Editing. I'm not, which, although I don't know if I could be able to do them sooner, maybe I'll have to wait until next week, but oh well. So yeah, bye guys.